Good defensive coordinators have made inside linebackers extremely difficult to RPO over the last few years, but I think I've found a way we can put them right back in the conflict that defensive coordinators are trying to avoid. Let's dive in. So this idea is really based on a defense that wants to play +1 to the perimeter and a defense where the inside linebacker is responsible for pushing number 3 to the flat. Now remember, when we are RPOing a defender, we want to put them in conflict. That means they have a run and a pass responsibility on the same play. So to talk about pass responsibility, let's just talk about one of my favorite passes, a good quick game pass. Let's draw up stick. So for me, stick, the Z is going to be on a blazer route, a go post option. The Y here is going to attack the outside hip of this Sam. The running back would be in the flat, and we would run our backside arrow with the F. When this Mike sees the running back, who is number 3 in the formation, when he sees him go to the flat, in most coverages, he should be pushing this route to the Sam. So let's say, for example, we're facing a match cover 4. The corner gets a vertical from his number 1, he should carry it. The strong safety does not get a vertical from number 2, so he's looking to help with number 1. The Sam is in the curl until something takes him to the flat. Here, the Mike giving him that push call will send him to the flat, and the Mike given the push call is now going to take away the stick. That's how it's supposed to work on paper. Offensively, we're trying to isolate the Sam here. If he pushes out to the flat, we're trying to hit this arrow before the Mike can actually get there. But in a match cover 4, he is on his way. So again, the defense wants to be +1 to the perimeter. If we take the running back to the flat, we now have 3 to the perimeter. The defense has to match that with the Mike, so they can have 4. Now let's take that idea that the Mike is responsible for vacating the box if number 3 is leaving the core. Let's take that and apply it to an RPO. So we're going to run what I call mid-zone. A lot of people call this wide zone. For me, it's mid-zone because, one, we're not going to have the fullback in the blocking scheme, which means our center now has to block to the play side linebacker. We're going to fan this out on the front side, and I've got my X in a nasty split, a 5-yard split, because that takes away his RPO rules, and he's going to block the free safety. We'll talk about why that's going to be important here in a minute. But backside, we have a 4-eye. This is a tight front. And since the center has to account for the play side linebacker, I don't have a great way to get to the Mike. I can't trust my backside tackle to get underneath the 4-eye and up to the Mike, because this 4-eye could cut that off pretty easily. I also can't trust him to go around the 4-eye, because when we take one step this way, if this Mike is following the flow, we're never going to get there. So here we can bring in this RPO idea. Our backside tackle can take the defensive end, the 4-eye, he can cut him off, and we can read the Mike. Why can we read him? Because he's in conflict. He's in conflict because he's an inside linebacker. This is a run play. If he does not fit this run, we have 5 blockers for their 5 defenders. But if he doesn't take the flat, then now they're 3 for 3 to the perimeter. We're going to have the Y cracked. The Z here is going to take the most dangerous man, and now we're 3 for 3. Maybe the strong safety comes down, we block both of them, and then our fullback runs over the corner. That's a long way to run before anybody catches up. But the Mike is in conflict because he has a number 3 to the flat. It's not the initial number 3, it's not the halfback, it's the fullback coming from the other side on the slide route. So the Mike here is getting a run read, but he's also getting a 3-out read. Now, normally I don't like RPOing non-force defenders, and that's why I have my X in this 5-yard split. For me, that takes away his RPO rules. If he was widened out in a regular split, then he would be running a thunder route, a hitch fade option. But whenever I bring receivers down into condensed splits, now we have good angles to block safeties. So here, if we run it, the only unblocked defender on the play side would be the corner. Now we're probably not getting all the way out there because it is mid-zone. This is probably going to hit inside, but we've put this Mike in conflict. If he chases the flat, then when we cut this back up, he's not there. And even if he kind of slow plays it, hopefully there's still a big enough crease that we still have a 6, 7, 8 yard run. All right, let's take a look at another blocking scheme. Another one of my favorites. Let's take a look at GT counter. Normally with GT counter against an odd front, I would read this 4-eye. We would block out on the will, double the nose back to the Mike, kick the 4-eye, and wrap for the inside backer. From this formation, we could also just use the fullback to block this 4-eye. We're 6 for 6. We've got everybody in the box accounted for. It should be a good play. but maybe we do want to increase the amount of conflict, the amount of pressure that we can put on a defense to play assignment football. And in that case, we can still give the Mike his same 3-out read. Now we're going to have to change the blocking scheme up a little bit here. We would have to send the center back on the 4-eye. Our guard would have the nose solo. I still don't like the down block on the 4-eye, so I'm still going to take my tackle out to the will here. We're still going to kick the 4-eye. We're still going to wrap to the inside backer. And again, now we are reading the Mike. Quarterback's going to open up backside. We're going to work a backside path here, and the quarterback's going to get his eyes on the Mike once he catches the snap. And again, the Mike can do two things. This really actually increases the pressure on the Mike, because if he's reading his guard, then his guard's pulling. So he has even that much more pressure, that much more conflict to where he should be fitting the run. But if he does, then we can just flip this ball right out here to our fullback in the flat, crack the Sam, and block it up the same way we just talked about, cracking the Sam with the Y, Z on the most dangerous man, and we're 3 for 3. We're 2 blocks and 1 missed tackle away from a pretty explosive play. Now, there are a few things we need to consider when trying to implement this strategy. Number one is, for me and my RPO rules, I'm never going to ask a quarterback to read multiple defenders post snap. So if I'm going to read this Mike backside post snap, I can't do what my normal RPO rules are, and that's having some kind of RPO rule for the safety. So that's why I had my X in this tight split, because I needed to account for him in a different way. He is the forced defender, so let's just say we're going to run this same GT counter that we just had, and if I'm reading the Mike right here, let's say that he gives a give read, he chases the fullback into the flat, we hand this ball off, and I'm not accounting for this free safety, because again, my X, if he's detached, he's going to be on a thunder route, a hitch fade option, based on the corner, is he pressed or is he off. So that's going to give the free safety a read here that he needs to fit this, and I don't have anybody to block for him. I can't read him post snap because I'm already reading the Mike. Maybe instead of a nasty split X, we go for a slot or a nub formation and we bring the tight end in. Now I still have somebody who can account for that safety. If this will linebacker is head up on the tight end, then I'm going to arc release to the safety, and we're going to block up the front the way we just did. Tackle working out to the will. We're going to go back on the 4-eye, back on the nose, kick the play side 4-eye and wrap to the jack. And here we have our Mike read. Or let's say that the will is in a 9 technique. Now our tight end has a good angle for a down block. So we can still back on the 4-eye, back on the nose, and now we can get a double team on the 4-eye to the jack. Now we can widen our kick, and now we can wrap to the free safety. Still have our Mike read, but either way, with this nub formation, we have our forced defender, our free safety taken care of. Yes, either way, I don't have anybody assigned to the corner, but at Wide Zone Warriors, we believe if corners could tackle, they would play safety. So it's not the end of the world if we don't get a corner blocked up by the scheme. Going back to our mid-zone example, we'd still have the guard on the 4-eye. Now we would combo the will regardless of whether he's head up or whether he's in a 9 technique. They would be comboing him to the free safety, and we're still getting our backside A combo to the play side linebacker, cut off the 4-eye, and read our Mike. Does he take the flat or does he fit the run? So consideration number one when RPOing the inside linebacker is how are we going to account for the force defender? Normally, I like to account for him by RPOing him, but I can't RPO a force defender and an inside linebacker at the same time. The other thing that we need to keep in mind is that this route, this RPO route, needs to come from the backfield. If we line up in 3 wide like I have here, defense that truly wants to play +1 to the perimeter is going to match that by their alignment. So here, the jack sees that there's 3 wide. He is no longer in the run fit. He's on the same side as the running back. So a good defense is going to sling their run fits. And now we're 5 for 5. We can still block the free safety, but we're kind of just wasting our energy reading this jack. If he's a well-coached jack, he can see the bubble or he can see a now screen. Regardless of what kind of RPO we have, we could be running a smoke screen, we could be running a bubble. Regardless, he should know the running back's on his side. He's out of the box. He is not a run-first player. So when he gets this run read, he should not be coming off the edge. He knows that he's the 4th defender over 3, so he has to be the quarterback player here, which also means he takes away the RPO. So we're wasting our energy by reading the jack here, whereas now we take our number 3 into the core. This jack is no longer going to apex. He's going to come back into the box, where instead of reading the backfield action or getting a tackle read, he should be getting his guard read, and that's where the conflict comes in. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the video that we used to be able to RPO inside linebackers, and this was more in the straight 4-2-5 era, where teams would just leave their nickel to the field. You could be in 2-by-2, and now whenever, let's just say we were going to run some kind of like double slants backside, teams would RPO this Mike linebacker. A common run play was what a lot of people called zone lock, like inside zone. We're going to man block on the backside. If the Mike fits his gap, then he's not there to cover the slant. If he takes away the slant, then we should have a tight running lane. But then the tight front came around. Now outside linebackers were taken out of the box. Inside running lanes were clogged. So if a team now wanted to read the inside linebacker, the problem is he's not responsible for that slant anymore. He was taken out of conflict because now the will is going to wall off and run with this slant as long as nothing is taking him to the flat. So if we were reading the Mike, let's just say that the offense was accounting for the Sam. They were kind of pushing the count, running a mid-zone type of blocking scheme like we looked at earlier. And they're reading this Mike, expecting this slant to enter his space. It may enter his space, but it should also be covered by this backside will linebacker. So the tight front took him out of conflict. How can we put him right back in conflict? We have to give him a reason to get out of the box by taking a number 3 to the flat. Now, I mentioned throughout the video that I do have a base set of RPO rules, and if you want to learn more about those, be sure to click on the screen and watch this next video.